Here with Mike and it's over, and we got a little bit of chest demonstration. Um, and this will probably benefit a lot of other people too. Is that when you're doing your chest and when you're doing particular body parts, um, it depends on what you're trying to do as far as the muscle development, as far as all the muscles of the chest, the delt tie-ins, the clavicle, the sternum tie-in on the pectoral major, which is the big one, the pectoral minor, which is not as important, not as dominant because it moves the rib cage and brings shoulder blades a little bit forward. The abdomen tie-in of the pectoral, which most people think if you do decline, you can work the lower chest. I always hear people say this, like I was telling Mike, and there's no such thing as bad questions, but the understanding of how the chest actually works and fire off. Some people get confused about that. With the chest, the main part of working the chest now, the whole development of the chest and the chest looking good starts from the top, meaning that you develop the upper chest, the delts, and all that other stuff, and gravity pulls everything down so you get that cup under of your chest and it looks good. It's not I developed my lower chest and now it has a little cup underneath that. That's a myth, and that's not true in muscles. When you learn how muscles work, they fire off in groups, and you got to get neurotransmitters to fire off in muscle groups to develop muscle groups. And this is when you're incorporating bigger muscle groups like the delts, along with the clavicle tie-in, the sternum tie-in of the chest. You have the ability to do more work, which means you have the ability to develop a bigger and a better chest. If you're doing decline, where most of the weight is stabilizing over your arms, which is extended, which is a brace. Like if you put your arms, like if I put my arms right here and I'm bracing myself, where it's just naturally a brace, doesn't have much to do with gravity, and I'm working a shorter range of motion, which my triceps are going to absorb a lot of that work. It doesn't really do a lot for my chest, so that's a big myth into getting your chest bigger. And another thing about your chest is that the muscles fan out, so there's a unique muscle group. It starts in the tie-in to the humerus underneath, the clavicle tie-in, all to go to the sternum, go to the abdomen tie-in to the stomach. So it looks like a fan as it comes around like that. So not only are you working your chest through a pressing motion, you also want to work your chest through a flying motion, which works your chest from lateral to medial. Same thing when you're benching or you're doing other things. Now you can affect chest and where you work in certain areas of your chest by where you place your hands on the bar. If you place your hands in closer on the bar, most of the time you'll feel it. It feels like it's more triceps, more delt, because you're working more towards the outside lateral part of your chest. The wider that you get with your hands, the more medial that you work in your body, and that's usually with every muscle group, not just particular the chest. So I hope that kind of clears things up, give you a better understanding of how you work chest and the theories behind working chest. You know, there's other concepts about reps and other stuff and things like that that my client is privy to have and to get a better understanding. I'll sit down with it and get him in a better understanding with those things to develop what he's trying to develop. That I won't get into the talk about it because I could be here for 3 hours talking about it like I am about this. But I started that off, and I didn't really mean to go that far. But now I'm going to demonstrate to him, and then I'm going to have him come and get the same feel. And so we're going to get to where he's actually developing his chest. He had a good point. He's like, I'm not really feeling my chest after I'm done with the workout. It's not really burning. And burning doesn't always necessarily mean good in a workout or in a body part or anything else like that. If you got the form right, if you're in your percentile, what you're supposed to be working, if you're pushing yourself, you can rest assured that you're doing it, and you don't have to feel it to do it. Um, Most of the times, and that's not a good indicator that you're doing something right or doing something wrong. It just could be that it's stressed or that you tore more muscle fibers, or there's a whole bunch of other different factors that could go on. So in this demonstration, if you ever heard me talk about working out, I always talk about my athletic position. That's with the pelvic rotated back, chest up, sternum up, sit it up tall, like if I was playing defense, like if I was a defensive back, like if I was about to do my golf swing, like if I was about to swing a baseball, like if I was coming in a running stance of track. No matter what it is that I do, if I'm laying down, if I'm working my back, if I'm working at an incline, if I'm working my arms, if I'm working my legs, I do this because it incorporates all my muscles. It put my spine in the correct angle. incorporate all the stabilizing regions of my spines, the thoracic, lumbar, the cervical, get it all in the right place, which allow me to incorporate the most muscle groups for the muscle that I'm trying to work. If I'm doing something that I'm hunched over, now I can incorporate muscle groups, but now I'm cheating myself because I'm not incorporating all the muscle groups because I don't have this firing mechanism position. So I'm going to start with the firing mechanism position, and this is just a standard bench. My rule of thumb is when I get under the bench for standard, and you ever see me work out, I'll get my hands situated, I'll lift my hands up. What I want is my arms to be basically parallel. You won't see me come this narrow like this because now my elbows, if I turn my elbows out, it's too narrow. I won't go this wide because now you can see there's a V with my arms, and that's how I was trying to work the middle part of my chest. I usually get a neutral grip, which is for my chest, and it depends on your individual body, and it's measured off the humerus part of the arm until where the forearm come down, and it's usually right around parallel. You want to make about a 45-degree angle, a little bit more. So I'll get this form, I lift up, I test the form, making sure, because now what I'm doing is I'm actually doing a rep right now, seeing where it's going to fire on my chest, what muscle groups I'm going to be doing, but I'm doing it in reverse by lifting up in a pull-up position. So I sit that down, put my shoulder blades in, get my shoulder blades comfortable. So now I'm locking everything in. Make sure my stomach come up, make sure my pelvic come up. I got that rotation. Take a deep breath and I lift. From here I come down. That's where I lift it up to. And that's parallel. That's everything parallel. Some people you see when they bench it, they only go to here. I don't like to do this because it doesn't work the muscle and the muscle fibers. Muscles stretch and they have stretch fibers, and they get the maximum capacity of a muscle. It needs to stretch. That way you can get more power into the muscle and you can do more work and develop it more. So this right here is parallel technically, but you don't got the maximum stretch capacity of the muscle, so you're not going to get much stronger. So I go all the way down to here. I touch. As you can see, as it's touching, my arms are basically parallel. My shoulders, I can feel the pressing mechanism from my shoulder blade. I can feel them pinching together. And from here, I'll push up. That's back to my chest. This right here is just the chest workout part of it right here. This range right here is the chest. That's why you see when I come down to here, I really don't get much chest, as much triceps. From here to here is really the chest part of it. My triceps kick in, I straighten it out. So in a one movement, it looks like this. Chest, triceps, kick. Chest, triceps, kick. And that's the sit right there. If you can see what I just did and as I demonstrated, I only work my chest in this much of the capacity of the lift. After that, I started incorporating triceps, delts, and everything else. And then my bones, which are stabilizing structures, to stabilize and lock out the lift. So when you're working muscles and you're working body parts, you got to understand the functioning of that body part and the muscles and stuff like that. Your body want to make it as easy as it can. So you got a whole bunch of other different groups, a whole bunch of other different muscles, anatomy parts that are playing parts in movements and working out. So understanding the ranges and understanding where you're actually working your chest and working the muscles that you're trying to work gives you a better understanding so that you can reach your goal a lot faster. I'm Lamont Gilchrist, Lamont Gilchrist Fitness Insider on YouTube. I hope this helped you out. My client's going to demonstrate a couple of them. I'm going to film them. Maybe you'll see the film if you want to be on. Maybe not. But I hope this helped y'all with chest and understanding how to work your chest. Thank you.